Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with Star Wars The Black Series, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Luminari Unduli. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got the peg hooky thing, a couple of pieces of tape, nothing else. On the front, Star Wars The Black Series. And then we've got a nice big window showcasing, all of the figure except maybe for her feet and then her lightsaber. She's number 7 in the Attack of the Clones subline, Luminari Unduli Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. 4 and up. And then there is the assortment number if you need that kind of thing. Hasbro print on the bottom. Small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. Here on the side, nothing up here. We've got this line that comes around from the front onto this side, upwards at an angle, and then around to the back. Star Wars The Black Series there at the bottom. On this side, some nice artwork of Luminari Unduli. It says right there. And then finally on the back, Star Wars The Black Series. And then the artwork from the side, zoomed in or blown up portion of it there. And there we have Luminari Unduli, a green-skinned Miralyn. Luminari Unduli served the Jedi Order during the final years of the Galactic Republic, fighting in Clone Wars battles such as Geonosis and Kashyyyk. And then there it is again in some other languages that I don't read. Again, she's number 7 in the Star Wars Attack of the Clones subline. Attention, especially don't stick things in your French pie hole that do not belong there. Includes figure and accessory. Warning, attention, Octoon. Don't stick things in any other language pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Disney print, Hasbro print, small fine, legalese, made in China print. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and her accessory, or accessories, depending on how you look at it. And first up, let's take a look at her lightsaber blade, which of course will disappear some on the green screen here because it's a nice green. And it's a nice translucent green. And it does have the older style peg in it, although it's a little thicker than those original pegs, and this is the one with the 2 divots in it, I suppose you could call it. But overall, pretty neat looking lightsaber piece. And here we have handy dandy tweezers to help us out with her hilt. And again, it's very nice. And it's decoed pretty good. And it is a silver paint. And then it's got some gold here on the pommel of it. But nice molded details. No peg for storage on the belt. But on the figure, as you'll see when we get to the, which we're fixing to get to the figure, there is no port on her belt. And of course, the way this lightsaber works, like all Black Series, you just line the port in the end of the hilt up with the post and push till you kind of feel it snap into place. So there's that all put together. Now let's take a look at the figure, and I have to say there's a lot of nice molded details throughout this figure, from the headband or the headdress here. You know, we've got some details here and here as well. And then you get to her face, and the inkjet stuff that they're using now does an excellent job on these face decos. I mean, look how clear those eyes are. And then you've got this color on the lips. And then I'm assuming what is a tattoo on her chin there. It might not be, but you know, it looks like that to me. And then you've got this, I guess, piece of jewelry or decorative, I don't know exactly what you might call that, but it's part of her uniform, and it has that nice gold paint app on it. And then the torso also has a lot of nice molded details on it, and as you can see, she has butterfly joints in the shoulders there. And the headpiece is a dumbbell at the top and then a ball joint at the bottom. The torso, neck, and head are all 3 separate pieces. Then we also have this overlay piece here, which is her belts and flappy piece. I'm not sure exactly what to call that these days. I don't know if it's supposed to be part of the skirt or how it's exactly done, or supposed to be, but it does have a lot of nice details in it, sculpted and painted, and it just kind of stands out, as well as these 2 buckles here have some gold on them. Nothing really on the back other than some textural details there, of course, on the torso and on the belt as well. Then we move to her arms. I do believe these are new pieces, like everything from the waist up I believe is new, plus the belt piece and the soft goods skirt. But lots of nice molded details in there on the upper sleeve, and then you get to the under the elbow, and again, just lots of sculpted detail here on these like wrist bracers and paint to go along with it. It matches up with this overlay here, and it's like that on both sides. Now let's talk about the soft goods here for just a minute. You know, Hasbro has a not great track record with soft goods pieces. It's just not in their budget with the tooling, and you know, they kind of refuse. It has to be made for this specific price point, and that's it. So you can see, like, it's sewn together on the outside, but you know, with most people looking at it on the inside, you know, that seam, it looks better like that than that. But if you're doing, you know, a shot from this side, or you're displaying it some way this side, you know, it's not the best look there. And but other than, I mean, it's okay. It's not the greatest, and it will remove if you need it to remove. It does come off around the shoulders. This piece here, Shock T also shares this same material for the skirt, and it may be the same pattern and everything like that. So it does tend to fray a bit at the edges, as you can see. Lots of strings hanging out. So there is that. But I do like the texture of it, and it does remind me of, you know, what the characters wear in Attack of the Clones, and probably Revenge of the Sith as well. And then, like, under the skirt, you know, we have, this is where the reuse is going on, but it's covered up. So, and you know, this line has so much unique sculpting, they have to reuse where they can. So I'm pretty sure, like, the crotch piece and the legs and the upper boots are reused. Probably, I want to say probably from Princess Leia, the first one. It could be Padme, but I think the Padme, episode 2 Padme, has some sculpted details in here, but I don't have it right here in front of me, so I don't really know. But I really think this is Princess Leia leg, but I could be mistaken. but you can tell from, you know, double hinged pinned knee, it is an older one. The feet, I'm not sure, you know, if these come from a previous figure or not, but they, you know, between Luminara and Shakti, I believe they both have this same foot going on. So there's all that. Now let's take a look at her articulation. Now, of course, you know, this headdress is gonna hinder some of the articulation, but she can look up that high, she can look down that low, which seems a bit limited in the range, seeing as how the type of articulation that they put in there. So she does have chicken neck, she does have some waggle, she can do the full exorcist, and there you can see that's where the cloak will come off. So there's for the head. For the arm, you do have to swing it out a little bit to get it to rotate a full 360 degrees, but it will do it. And if you tilt the head to the side a little bit because of the headdress, she can get, it's still not 90 degrees. Well, it's close to 90 degrees bend there at the shoulder. At the elbow, single hinge and swivel, so it swivels around 360 degrees. And it does give you better than a 90 degree bend, so that's nice. Then 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an up and down hinge, so that's also nice. And this side has an up and down hinge as well. So nothing in the torso. At the waist, she does have a cut there. It's on a ball joint or half dumbbell, whatever you want to call it. And it gives her all kinds of hula. She can lean left and right. It will spin all the way around, but if you're not careful and hold it and don't hold it properly, the skirt piece here will come out of place. Not like down or anything, but around. So that's just something to be aware of. At the hips, you know, the soft goods will hinder it a little bit, so you do have to raise them up some, and she will give you that much of the splits. There's no hindrance there from the soft goods. That is literally as far as the mold allows. And she can kick forward that far, which is a little better than 90 degrees, so very nice for a Jedi. And then backwards, maybe the length of her foot, maybe a little bit less. Now, this being an older leg, it also, of course, has a cut here at the thigh for a 360 degree rotation. And as I mentioned before, double hinged pinned knee, it gives you that much bend. And then I think there's also a boot cut right here at the upper shin, the top of the boot. And there is, so added articulation, that's always welcome pretty much. And then at the ankle, she tilts down that far, her foot tilts up that far, so that's a very nice range there. And then she does have a pin for rocker. And you know, I mentioned earlier that she has butterfly joints, but I forgot to show the range on that. So it goes back that far, which is pretty good for, especially for a Star Wars character. And then forward, not quite as much. I would like a little bit more range out of that for, you know, lightsaber stances and so forth. So there we have that. And of course, I mentioned earlier, there's no peg on the lightsaber hilt, and there's no port for that on her belt, so she does not have any storage for her lightsaber. She just merely has to hold it, which she doesn't want to do right now, or at least hold it correctly. So there you have it, my friends. I'll look at the figure and her accessory. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have Star Wars The Black Series Attack of the Clones, Luminari Unduli, with Star Wars The Black Series Attack of the Clones, Shakti. Star Wars The Black Series reissue of Plo Koon, and Star Wars The Black Series Mace Windu. For our last set of comparisons, here we have Star Wars The Black Series Attack of the Clones Luminari Unduli, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on Star Wars The Black Series, Attack of the Clones, Luminari Unduli, I have to say this one checks the box for another member of the Jedi Council done. So, is this the greatest Jedi action figure ever? No, I will say this. It's a pretty decent female Jedi figure. It does have some new parts to it. It does have some reuse to it. As far as I can tell, the reuse is like from the hips down, just mainly the legs, maybe the crotch piece as well. Possibly the boots and the feet. I'm not 100% sure. And, you know, I think this is a good entry for the Black Series. And again, like I said, another check mark for getting us another prequel Jedi. And she's on the council, so that's a plus. At least I figure it to be a plus. And, you know, I liked her appearances in the Clone Wars, even though she might have been a bit stern. So, I don't know. Maybe that's because she kind of, you know, her headdress makes her look like a nun. So maybe she's more stern than the other Jedi. I don't know. Although I would think that Mace Windu is probably pretty severe. And you probably would not want to be his Padawan. But as far as this figure goes, I think it's a good entry. And it does help us check off another one of those prequel Jedis that, you know, if you like the prequels or you just like Jedi, then this one is probably for you. But if you're not a prequel fan, then, you know, this can be a pass for you. If you only collect sequel trilogy stuff, you're probably a little SOL at this point because there's not a whole lot of sequel stuff coming in because it's not well received. Just like the Acolyte. That what came out for that is probably going to be it. Skeleton Crew, probably the same thing. I don't think we're going to get another season of that. Not because it wasn't good. I mean, it was fun for what it was, which is Goonies in space. And I think it was a fun little romp around the Star Wars universe, but not so much that I want to run out and buy figures of those characters. I don't really need that. Jedi, on the other hand, that's a different case. And, you know, I'm pleased with this figure. I mean, is it the best figure ever? No, it's not the best figure ever. But, again, you know, it hits the right stuff, I think. And, you know, it helps us another step toward completing those prequel Jedis, if that's what you're trying to do. Well, that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's our wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.